Plan Commission to order. Take a roll.
Sure. Amanda Nowak.
Here.
Brian Frank.
Here.
John Keckeisen.
Here.
Dave Roshka.
Here.
Eric Torkelson.
Here.
Kathleen Dagenhart.
Here.
Okay, we have 6 present, and Tom Rebstock and Wayne Clark are excused. All right. Do I need Mayor Devine? I didn't call you.
I'm here.
Okay, good. All right.
We'll move on to the next item, approval of the minutes from our October meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any adjustments or changes?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. The minutes are approved. We will move on to section D of our agenda, 2A and 2B.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm just going to borrow this real quick. This seems to be working better with the keyboard. So items 2A and B may be considered together, and they're both related to a property at 70th and Washington Street. And you may recall this from the September Plan Commission meeting. This is the site of the future part of the West Quarter development, which will also include a Home to Suites hotel. That Home to Suites hotel was originally proposed on the very northwest corner of this site, and subsequently a CSM, a certified survey map, to divide this lot into 2 parts, was approved by Planning Commission and Council. There's been a little bit of a shift and change in plans to move that hotel from up here down to this location down here. And this lot configuration with a 6.9 acre lot 2 and a roughly 2 acre lot in the lower part is the new configuration of the division of that larger about 9 acre lot. So the hotel will be down in this lot down here. Let me just share a couple other slides here, but this is the original, the overall lot on the lower left slide, and then the original proposal in the middle, and the current proposal for the hotel is on the right-hand slide picture, and that's the image of the hotel that was approved. The overall lot is zoned C3 community commercial. The hotel plans were approved previously, subject to this certified survey map being approved, along with the removal of an overlay zoning, which is called Planned Development District. The Planned Development District zoning is no longer needed for this hotel lot, as it's just going to be one building upon a lot. The flexibility offered within that Planned Development District overlay district allows for more than one building on a lot. It's just not going to be needed on the new lot that's being created as part of this CSM. So we'll come back to that in the future through the Common Council to remove that overlay zoning district. But we just wanted to bring that to your attention tonight. And we're recommending approval, and this will be going before the Common Council in mid-December on the 17th.
Thank you, Steve. Does anybody have any questions?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right. Any other discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Next up is item 3.
Sure.
Is that
Yep, that's me. Thanks. Nicole Fernhaber. Hi, Nicole. Hi, how are you? She's here with us tonight, and the proposal, she's the owner of the property, and she's looking at basically improving the facade of the building. It's an existing business at 58th and National, and the red line basically indicates that those existing windows are going to be removed and replaced with new windows. And then there's an existing valance, a small, basically little eyebrow architectural feature above those windows, which is going to be clad in like a cedar wood siding, similar to that. And then up above, the painted brick is going to be cleaned and basically cleaned up. Paint's going to be removed. And if the brick is in good shape, I think the idea was to sort of keep it natural color.
Yes.
And then there's going to be some spot cleanup and tuck pointing and fixing of some of the mortar on the exterior of the building. The one thing in our staff report, we indicated that one of the conditions of approval was that we wanted a
I should have mentioned the lower part here too. There's going to be a tile base to replace the plastic coated paneling that's down there right now. But in the recommendation for approval, we are asking for an architectural plan. Nicole has hired an architect. We should be getting that plan shortly. We're still recommending approval, and things are going along just fine. But one of the reasons for the need for an architect is that with the proposed closure or removal of one of the entrances on the storefront, we want the architect to calculate, there's some exiting requirements potentially. We just want to make sure that it's not throwing those exiting calculations off. So that's what the architect would be doing, as well as providing an elevation to sort of show the exterior details on the elevations. We also want to make sure that the windows, which are proposed to be transparent glass, we just want that noted on the plans that it's transparent vision glass on the elevations. So with that, open up for discussion, if any. Questions? Yeah.
I have a
John.
question. Is it going to be ADA accessible, the new?
Yeah, yes, yeah. I mean, the building right now is,
I couldn't quite tell.
Has
There's
steps?
steps on the left-hand side.
as part of the architectural plan that's submitted, I mean, it wasn't something that was raised by building inspections as necessary, but I mean, with the architectural plan that's submitted, I guess that'd be part of the,
Is there a door?
yeah.
The door on the right is the one to be removed.
This one's going to be
Oh, okay.
closed.
Off from
Right
the
now, there's,
inside.
I think
Okay.
some,
Oh, it's already walled off.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then, I don't know if it matters for ADA, but there are 2 garage doors and 2 man doors in the back of the building, and that's where we let our handicap. There are quite a few.
Okay. Any other questions? Eric?
Hey, Steve, the status of the sign
Yeah.
on the building is,
We're
What are the plans
of the opinion that it's, so it's an older sign, probably the exact age of the building, I'm not
30-ish
sure.
years old.
Yeah, 30-some years old, but it does have some unique features to it with bulbs, the kind of the classic mid-century kind of look with bulbs and so on. I mean, that's something that I guess didn't really rise to the occasion in this particular case. We have no comment on it. I guess we're just suggesting it be maintained in current condition. Other options, I mean, would be for complete removal. The thing we thought about, though, if you remove that completely, it's more or less just a flat building. This does offer some
Dimension.
level of dimension or articulation on
Yeah.
otherwise flat buildings. So we didn't have a recommendation for that other than there it is, and we're not recommending it be removed.
Any other questions?
Motion to approve?
Motion, do we have a second?
Second, I'll second it.
Okay. If there's no other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks.
And we'll move on to item 4.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a proposed combination of two lots under the same ownership. The family that owns the property is just wanting to combine the 2 properties into one, and then their intent is to put up a new fence around the perimeter of the property. I guess respectful of the zoning requirement that you can't have a fence in the front yard. It has to be in line with the 20-foot setback of the building. So we're recommending approval of the certified survey map. It'll go before Common Council on the 17th.
Thank you. Questions? Motions?
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion on the motion? All right. All in favor of item 4?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries, item passes. Moving on to item 5, the survey map.
Oh, thank you. Chris Hansen's here this evening, represented by Thomas Rasmussen. His firm is owner of basically the 13 properties in the area around 92nd and Lapham, otherwise known as Chris Hansen Group Incorporated. And they're proposing to consolidate basically all of the properties with the exception of this one that's currently detached, given the right-of-way of 91st Street through that area. But so the other 12 properties are all going to be combined. If you recall, last year they acquired the apartment buildings over here and demolished those. And they more recently, towards the end of last year, acquired the Knights of Columbus property. And all of those are going to be assembled into one lot of record for a future expansion plan, which is going to be coming back to us first part of the new year for an addition, phase 1 of possibly 2 phases of addition on the building. So, but tonight's proposal is really just the consolidation of properties into one lot of record. So we're recommending approval, and this will be coming before council on the 17th. So that's the map. Almost 11 and a half acres.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great. Anybody have any questions? Silent group tonight.
Motion to approve.
And you're all wearing dark colors.
Second, Brian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you get the blue, that's about the.
Thank you. Right.
Is there a motion? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, I made a motion.
And I
to approve.
second.
Brian seconded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Yeah, we're flying. We'll move on to item 6, a special use for Mary Queen of Saints.
And Andrea Hager is here representing Mary Queen of Saints Catholic Academy. She's the dean, as well as, I'm sorry, what was your name?
Kathy Kramer.
Kathy Kramer, the CFO of Mary Queen of Saints. So this is a school, K through 8 school that is currently at 1435 South 92nd Street. That's the St. Aloysius.
Aloysius.
Aloysius, thank you.
St.
A
Aloysius.
lot of Catholic schooling for you, huh?
So they currently have 217 students and 30 staff members. They are, we should be proud of them. They have the 3rd highest test scores for private grade schools in the state of Wisconsin. Their hours of operations will be Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 3:30. And this property is zoned RA2, and private educational institutions are special use across all land uses. And then their public hearing will be scheduled for this coming Tuesday at the Common Council meeting. So this is a look at the front of the building. Might be familiar with it. They have a pretty good drop-off plan. So I used to do safe routes to school plans for several different schools, and this one's pretty good. So they have traffic coming in on 117th Street and then leaving on 116th Street, so it doesn't really cause too many backups. And they plan to get everybody in and out within 15 minutes at drop-off as well as pickup. And per code, they're required to have 13 off-street parking spaces, but as you can see, they've got a huge parking lot there, so 150 spaces total. And staff recommends approval of the special use permit.
I have a question.
Yes.
The site and landscape portion of the staff report here, it says that the site's under an approved plan from 2011. Has anything happened since 2011 on
Well, yeah, I think it's been, the plan has been implemented. I mean, there's landscape islands and perimeter landscaping along 117th Street. So when the church, going the wrong way. When the church added an addition back here, there was a considerable amount of landscaping that was added along 117th Street. And then also these islands within the parking lot were also part of that update. With the school, we're basically just honoring that existing plan. We feel it's sufficient and it's working well. It's good maintenance. So it's just a matter of the property owner, the church in this case, maintaining the landscaping for the approval.
And it looks like it's all, you guys did a site visit? And it looks
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, we're kind of in the latter part of the year. It's
Yeah.
not looking as lush as
Right, yeah, of course.
May, June, but yeah.
Okay, thank you, Steve.
Thank you, sure.
Any other questions?
Is there going to be any, how do they plan to implement the drop-off plan here? Are they going to add signage? Or, because right now I believe it's two-way traffic in and out of all the entrances to the church.
Yeah, there's going to be signage as well as an informational meeting with the parents. They currently on 92nd Street use a similar drop-off pattern.
Okay.
So the parents are pretty familiar with, it's almost like a valet style. The parents pull up, a teacher opens the door, the student gets out, and they continue moving on. There's going to be few parents that will park.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions, discussion? Not, I'll ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, any other discussion on that motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay. You work there? Okay. So we have 5-0 and 1 abstention. Motion carries. Great, good. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 7, Mission Barbecue.
So the architect for Mission Barbecue couldn't be here tonight, but he said he would make himself available via phone call if we have any questions for him.
Okay.
So this restaurant will be occupying the former site of Cece's Pizza. Their menu consists of barbecue, of course. They can seat a maximum of 90 guests, including their newly proposed outdoor patio. They'll have 10 employees per shift, 50 total. They'll be operating within the special use permit of Cece's Pizza. So I believe Cece's Pizza said they would be open 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day. So they're operating within that special use, which is why they're able to piggyback off of it. Their zoning is C4, and like I said, they're operating under an existing special use. Here's a rendering of what it could look like. So you'll see there that they have new metal siding all the way around, new lighting fixtures, as well as they agreed to remove some of the old ephes that was on the building. And they had originally proposed putting on new ephes, but they have agreed to replace that with fiber cement board. So here's a look at the interior. So they're updating the bathrooms, kitchen, dining spaces, pretty much everything. And then adding the new outdoor patio that you see on the upper right. And then their total occupancy is 132. Here's a look at their site plan. So you can see in the back, they are installing an underground grease trap, but it's underground, so it's out of view. And the storage area will also be screened from view. They're replacing the flagpole. They're required to have 24 parking spaces, but just in this picture alone, there's about 68 spaces. And part of Mission's mission is to have veteran parking. So you'll see those 2 spots right in front of the front door. Their architectural plan has, so like I said, they're adding decorative lighting, removing ephes, adding metal siding, and installing that outdoor patio. This is an updated plan that they sent to us after they agreed to remove ephes. So staff recommends approval subject to the removal of all existing ephes, and the new ephes must be replaced with higher quality material, which they have complied with. Honestly, I forget exactly what it stands for, but it's
Exterior insulation
Exterior
finish system.
insulation finish system. It's like a modern version of like a stucco. It's like a thin plaster coating over a.
it's a lower quality building
Yeah,
material.
we're generally not a fan. I
Mhm.
think it's safe to say it's
Yeah, it can absorb water and can get moldy.
age quickly. and-
Yeah.
No,
No.
good question to ask.
Can you go back to the site plan? I'm just curious, you've got this area called out as staging area, and you didn't talk about it. I'm not sure what.
Oh, yes.
What that
I did
is or
ask
what-
about that. That's just for construction.
Oh, okay.
That's where they slaughter the animals.
It's right at the fenced off. if that's
Yeah,
what it
right.
is.
Have our own mini Strauss argument here. Any other questions? Now that I just brought everything down to a little.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. They're gonna take away pizza, the best thing that could replace it with is barbecue.
Yeah, that's true.
Or Cajun, up number 8.
Number 8 is Crawdaddy's on Greenfield's proposal for a sign appeal. Troy Meyer is here representing his business, and as is Skip Beck of Lemberg Sign Company. So in retrospect, I guess the Planning Commission in 2016 had recommended that there were 2 pole signs in the site once upon a time. And it was, the property was formerly Yesteryear's Bar and Grill, and then it was another similar Cajun restaurant, maybe not similar, but another Cajun restaurant. And with the 2016 recommendation, Planning Commission had wanted this second sign, pole sign, removed. When the tenant, which is now a church, leaves. The church tenant is apparently leaving in February. So Troy came to the city and said, you know, I just would like to, I understand the Plan Commission's recommendation from 2016, but I'd like to request a sign appeal because he sees, you know, some value in the sign. It does have some characteristics which he is appealing to the Plan Commission. He feels meets the creative sign section of our ordinance, and that's been explained within the staff report. And from a staff perspective, we had recommended the Plan Commission as well in 2016 that we think, you know, the pole signs on site should be removed. However, with the proposal that's been submitted, we offer it for your consideration, and there's a number of points I guess we'd like to just talk about that have been brought up as part of the Lemberg and the Crawdaddy's proposal here. First, they're going to be updating the sign with some refacing of the sign panels. It'll feature an opaque background, and then there's also going to be the bulbs on the arrow feature are going to be updated with LED, as will the interior of the cabinet. So they'll be modernizing the internals, the electric of the sign. However, keeping some of the, I guess if you will, more historic or nostalgic features of the sign. And they'd like Plan Commission to consider approving this sign as an appeal under the creative sign section of our ordinance. As you can see, the burgundy details would match the awnings upon the on the restaurant. The LED arrow is I guess a strong graphic representation, which they feel is something that unique to the sign and maybe unique to the area. There are only, I guess, in staff's perspective, a handful of signs in which we feel are, you know, have that exhibit that strong character of like mid-century. The Greeby's Bakery maybe being one of them. But in terms of reviewing the proposal and the appeal, there are certain standards under the creative sign section that if Plan Commission agrees, you actually do have a rationale to, you know, approve the appeal. And I'll just go over those right now. But so there's a design criteria, there's a contextual criteria, and then I think the third is an architectural criteria. But so in terms of just going over those, the number one, design-based criteria. If you feel that the sign constitutes a substantial aesthetic improvement to the site and has a positive visual impact on the surrounding area. B, it's of a unique design and exhibits a high degree of thoughtfulness, imagination, and inventive spirit. Part C, does it provide a strong graphic character through the imaginative use of graphics, color, texture, quality, material, scale, or proportion? I'll just jump ahead to the next criteria, which is context. And the creative sign section of the ordinance says that the sign shall contain at least one of the following elements, A through D. So the choices here is of a classic historic design style, is of a creative image reflecting current or historic character of the city of West Allis, features symbols or imagery relating to the entertainment or design industry, and is it an inventive representation of the use of structure or business. And then the third point, our architectural requirements, A and B, utilizes or enhances the architectural elements of the building, and is placed in a logical location in relation to the overall composition of the building facade and does not cover any key architectural features. So in our staff report on page, starting on page 14 and ending on page 16 is our write-up. But to these points, I guess we feel that, staff feels there is something there in terms of warranting, an approval towards the appeal based on the design criteria of the creative sign section. Again, we feel it's a unique sign. I think the arrow, if not for the arrow, we may not feel that way, but I think that arrow sort of ties it all together and gives it sort of that nostalgic look. They're actually going to be updating those the bulb elements with an LED to make that a functional piece of this sign. So we feel that's a good, strong graphic character and historic in certain senses. And the other point I'd like to just mention is that the overall, in terms of the overall sign ordinance, the overall property, the property has about 100 square feet of signage on it in total. And under the sign ordinance, it would be allowed 125 square feet of signage in total. So they're about 25 square feet under the total allowance. So we feel based on those four, those contextual, architectural, and design criteria, plus the fact that it's well under the total allowance of signage, we feel that there's the ability for the Plan Commission, if you so wish, to support their appeal.
Thank you. Any questions? I think Eric goes first.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. Steve, I just had a question regarding, has there been any discussion in terms of the time frame for implementing, should an approval be granted?
I'd ask Troy or Skip.
Once we get, should we get this approved, it probably takes about 6 to 8 weeks, so probably looking sometime in January that we get the project done.
Just in time for
There is
February?
One thing I'd like to interject, what we all talked about, and that is the opaque background. And I understand there's rules in regards to that. I do have some sketches showing it both with an opaque background, like you see on the left up there, or for the whole entire face to be lit up, and I've got some nighttime views of both of those with me. Both Troy and I agree that we really like the entire face to light up, above and beyond or not having the opaque background. We think it's a strong design. I personally feel that it holds together better if the whole face were to light up, like you'd see on the right side. So I have those drawings here. They look very similar to what you're showing there. Only the dark sky on the right side. But we'd like you to consider that as well, if that's possible, not to opaque the background and allow the entire face to light up. The burgundy background, it's a nice rich color, and I think it would enhance it, especially with the with the red bulb arrow.
Do you want to bring those up, the renderings you have? And then I think you were next.
That was the question, which one?
Okay.
That was the question.
Right, yeah, so that was probably confusing. So on the second page of these, this shows you what the illumination is preferred, which would be the one on the right. So that was our one request above and beyond what you've already talked about.
Like this, because it's got a little more red in it.
So the point, I guess, within our sign ordinance, there's the typical requirement for signs that if they're internally illuminated, we like to have them feature an opaque background. Certainly the logo or text can be, illuminated and be translucent, but the background, the sort of the burgundy areas, we like to have opaque. So we had expressed that to Troy and Skip, and they, obliged with the proposal here. But so yeah, it was a decision you have to make. But I guess we're just trying to. We understand it's it's an existing pole sign plan. Makes you want it removed. This is an appeal. I think there's definitely a context or an avenue for granting an appeal. We would just still, I guess, recommend to try to move a little closer to maybe some compliance towards our ordinance, and that would be the, maintaining an opaque background. But we could certainly discuss.
My question, I guess, is just in regard, do we have anything in regards to photometrics, or how bright is this going to be? Because currently the sign's there, but it's not lit, if I remember correctly.
It's lit now.
Is it lit now? Okay. Yeah, so if it's going to be a similar light level, I guess I don't have.
It would be similar, because right now it does have the blue background.
Okay.
illuminated.
Is the arrow illuminated?
It hasn't illuminated in a couple of years, just
Okay.
because it's in disrepair.
So I guess that's more of my question. When they relamp this, the LEDs, how bright is it going to be? Is it going to, our neighbors going to complain? I guess I'm just asking the question. I don't know if there's a way to do photometrics, or what light level is going to come off of this.
I didn't specifically ask that. That's a good question. I know Skip maybe.
I can't tell you how many nits or lumens each one of those bulbs put out. It's probably similar. They are LEDs, but they aren't any greater than your typical small incandescent light. I'll provide you with the amount of lumens coming off each one. But I'm guessing they're probably 15 watt.
Sure.
Could it be?
Do we have anything in regards to how much light pollution, or is there a standard in our?
The only thing that we indicate in the ordinance would be that it not be affect like traffic safety, and that we try to maintain all of the light levels on site as best possible. Would it be, Skip, could it be made to be dimmable? I mean, the light levels are adjustable?
LEDs typically aren't
Okay.
dimmable,
All right.
especially this type of bulb.
Okay.
Now, that night view of that arrow being as red as it is, that's probably not a good example, because it is a painted arrow and just the bulbs light up.
Is there an example of something similar that we could see, or I don't want to have everybody come by and see, all of a sudden this is like, I don't know. I'm just asking.
The Las Vegas Strip.
Right. I mean, I like the look, and I get the Art Deco. I mean, I get it. I want to voice the question on the.
My concern would be more of the traffic. If it's LED,
Correct.
is it going to really blind it? It's pretty bright over there as it is, and if you got some LEDs over there, that would be my only concern on that one, is how much brightness that would hit with the traffic. Because it's going to be more of a white light, not a yellow light. When you're looking at LED, then, so it's a white light. It's going to really shoot out there more.
As far as examples out there, there's really not a lot of these signs left out there.
No, I know it.
Which probably makes it, I think, kind of unique. And it's nice when you see the city like this, trying to preserve some of the old signage. And since there's very few of these left, I think it's a good opportunity to keep something like this around.
Almost wonder if that sign on Fairview Motors on 60th Street is similar.
That one is probably a good comparable, because I think that does have similar, like, exposed bulbs. That,
Yeah. 60th and Beloit.
60th and Beloit, yeah.
Sleeve.
Those types of open bulbs are becoming much more stylish. You'll see a lot more signs these days with the bulbs around the outside. The other thing that's changed is you don't see a lot of chasing lights anymore, which this is not, and I can understand the reason behind the chasing bulbs and the Las Vegas comparison.
Could you even do not even do the center part strip if it's too bright? Maybe would that maybe make it a little bit more compliant, I guess you could say?
Oh,
Not all of them on the inside, but just maybe that
mhm.
one strip on the third, or the middle strip?
I think that would give it kind of a broken look, only lighting up part of it.
It'd just be the outline, though.
Oh, the outline.
Taking out the middle.
Oh, and
Take out the middle one and just have the outline. And then that would reduce some of the light, if that's a problem, you know what I mean?
I do, I'm wondering if there's a variance in the bulbs that you can put in this, you know, like how many options are there for something of this stage?
That's a good question.
Do you have, I know some
Yeah.
bulbs feature like a dipped, you know, the tip of the bulb is like dipped, so that doesn't have that direct in your face, so there'd be more of an indirect, or maybe, I think you'd still see the light and the arrow, of course, but it would have the tip of the bulb that's facing you, like head-on, would be dipped in some kind of, I don't know, like a silver coating or whatever it is, but like the bathroom lights above your, you know, certain bathroom sinks, but yeah. I don't know if that would be an option, maybe a different
Yeah,
style of
maybe this is
bulb.
something that needs some additional investigation.
Okay.
Because we don't work with a lot of these bulbs often.
I mean, is there a way we can conditionally approve it with,
Should we?
you know, if we get that it's too bright, we bring it back and just. see
Well, I
what
think
we
that's
can-
the question is, I hate to see if it's bright and you get complaints in the neighborhood, where are we at then? What, you know?
But at the same time, I would like them to be able to get moving.
For sure.
So I can see the,
For sure.
you know, trying to strike the balance, because this is our only meeting through November, December, so our next meeting will be late January.
We'll certainly continue to work with Skip on the lighting element. I mean, I guess, what's everyone's
Preference here?
preference in terms of just the overall?
Yeah, for
lot of
me,
light.
I like maintaining the opaque background, so it's in compliance with the sign ordinance. Do a conditional approval with the sign being up at the end of January. I mean, that's,
Of the opaque, that's a motion? Or?
yes. I'm making a motion to approve staff recommendations subject to maintaining the opaque background, and that the sign would be up at the end of January of 2020.
You're talking the left one? The right one?
Well, actually, I think these are both the same. It's just the daytime view is on the right and the nighttime or dusk view is on the left. And then the one that Skip passed out just moments ago shows you know, both a nighttime view on each of what the staff recommendation is, and then the alternate of just fully translucent cabinet signs. So our recommendation is recommending the sign on the left, and then
Right, yeah.
the sign on the right, if it were nighttime, it would look like the one on the right, so, so, I mean, so,
I just wonder if the sign is opaque, but yet the lights are lit up. Is that gonna look segmented almost, where
yeah, well, I mean,
in the evening it's gonna be flat, but then the lights will be lit up around it?
the part that's lighting up here are, you know, like the arrow, the parking,
Okay.
the text.
So it's not, okay.
This part's lighting up, that part's lighting up, you know, everything, the black is dark, though, I think.
Okay.
So.
It's probably a little bit of an exaggeration. It wouldn't turn pitch black.
Right,
Ambient
right.
light, there's going to be lights from the bulb, so it'll have actually a
glow.
deep burgundy look, and the gold would be a little more
Right.
visible than that too. But yeah, that's basically good.
So, I mean, we could certainly work with you to Skip on like photometrics and just getting a better understanding of the light levels with the arrow and the bulbs. Perhaps there is a different bulb that could be
Yes, so
used
we'll look
to
into the
subdue
bulbs
the
and find out
intensity.
exactly how many watts they are, so we can
Yeah.
get some idea of what that's going to look like. We have started repairs on the arrow, kind of held off now until, obviously we get this approved.
Okay.
So yeah, I can get back to you with some more information in regards to those bulbs.
Okay.
So you made a motion?
Yes.
Did anyone second that, or does anybody want to second that?
I'll second it.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank Thanks.
And then item 9, complete streets presentation.
Did you have a presentation you wanted?
Well, I could do that same presentation or
If you
kind
want.
of long.
Okay, yeah, it's up to you. Yeah.
So the planning office is going to be implementing, or with the help of other departments, a complete streets policy. Who has heard of a complete streets policy here? So that policy basically makes it so every new construction project that comes to the city has to look into transportation facilities for vulnerable users. So that's people walking, biking, taking the bus. As it stands now, most of our construction projects are geared towards motor vehicles. And so it's a total mindset shift and gear shift, so to speak, to get us thinking in a different way on how we construct our roadways. Many other municipalities are doing it. There's 1,400 complete streets policies in place, and there's been a big movement across the country to implement these. And we want to get West Allis on the map with this. So we're looking to propose this to Common Council in May. And so we're just at the beginning stages right now. I just drafted a policy that might work for West Allis, and I'm going to vet that through different departments and see what people think and see what we come up with. So I just wanted to let you all know as we're getting started.
What other cities in Wisconsin have this implemented right now?
The city of Milwaukee just passed theirs in 2018. They actually got third in the nation for best complete streets policy. I helped write that one. No big deal. So I think we can get first in the nation. Madison has one, so does Eau Claire. A few others, but those are the ones that I know for sure.
Very good. I just didn't know if we were the first, that's all.
No, not the first. But it'll be in the kind of the front end of it.
Yeah.
I will say that the state of Wisconsin used to have one, and we're the only state that has actually repealed their own complete streets policy. I don't know why, but it became a partisan issue. Yeah.
Wow.
But, I mean, we should all be supportive of safe streets, right?
Absolutely.
Yes, for more than cars. Does anybody have any other questions?
No, sir.
I just had one real quick.
Wow.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Steve, I know a couple weeks back, there was a field trip up to Madison. And
Yeah.
The Greer. I didn't have an opportunity to go to that.
Garber feed mill?
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, what was kind of, were you at that? And if so, what
Yeah,
was some of the
Tony,
feedback?
myself, Mayor,
I did not go.
Mayor, okay.
Yeah.
But it was a very cool place, the Garber feed mill, for decades, was an industrial use that fell into disrepair over the years, and I think was near probably the wrecking ball, and with the sort of foresight of the city and the developer who was willing to take it on and apply for historic tax credits, they renovated the place. I mean, there were literally trees growing out of the roof of that building, holes in the roof, graffiti, vandalism, broken glass. Nowhere near as bad as the building that we're looking at within our city of doing something similar. So we're really excited about the possibilities locally here for our local example, and as is the developer. So I hope that works out for the best. Yeah.
Alderperson Reinke was all excited because she got a bottle of kombucha and she didn't know what it was. She came in and we were telling her to keep it refrigerated and it's good for her guts. Any other questions? Then I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Don't all jump at once.
I did a motion to adjourn.
I didn't make the motion.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, anyone second?
Second.
Okay. You guys want to stay? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries.